Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take your selected sources, extract the crucial knowledge, and aim to get you well-informed, fast.
Today, we're diving into the 72 Angels of Magick by Damon Brand. We've got some excerpts provided by a listener.
And our mission for this deep dive, it's really to understand the core ideas and the practical steps for contacting angels as laid out in this book.
Specifically looking at how it suggests gaining power over things like success, money, protection, even dealing with enemies.
Right, and doing that without getting too bogged down in really dense occult jargon. So let's kick things off with the central idea, the power of angels.
Okay, so the main premise here is that you can contact angels for help with, well, pretty much all those areas you mentioned. And crucially, the book argues it's easier than many traditional occult paths might suggest.
Easier? How so?
Well, the author, Damon Brand, presents this as a system refined over 30 years by this group called the Gallery of Magic. It builds on their earlier work.
And it's positioned as non-religious, which seems a bit counterintuitive when you're talking about angels and using Hebrew Psalms.
Exactly. That's a really interesting point. The book frames the Psalms not as religious texts in this context, but as powerful traditional shortcuts for making contact.
Shortcuts because of their history and potency.
That seems to be the idea. And this non-religious angle extends to who can use it. The book claims it works for people of various beliefs, even atheists.
So belief isn't the key?
Apparently not. What is key, according to the text, is a strong, genuine desire for change. That's the real fuel for the magic, it seems.
But it's not casual, right?
Yeah.
The book stresses taking it seriously.
Oh, absolutely. It emphasizes reading the instructions carefully and treating each working as almost like a pact with reality. It's not something you just try out for kicks.
So doing it just to test it probably won't work.
That's what the book strongly suggests. You need commitment and a really clear idea of the change you want. That focused desire is fundamental.
Okay. And the book also includes methods for empowering things like talismans and sigils.
Yes, and interestingly, it says you can even empower them if they're just displayed digitally, like on a screen.
That's modern. And the potential benefits listed are pretty wide-ranging.
They really are. Help with tough tasks, stronger will, popularity, attracting friendship or love, calming arguments, loyalty, getting back lost love.
Protection, finding truth, stopping liars, finding work, success, fame, fortune.
Inspiring artists, attracting wealth, getting debts paid, turning enemies into friends, protection from attacks, staying unseen, success in deals or exams.
And boosting your own power in work or magic, developing stronger willpower. It's quite a list.
It covers a lot of ground. And again, the book hammers home that you don't need a specific belief or religion, just that real strong desire for something to change in your life.
Okay, so if there's so much magical info online, how does this book claim to be different or, better?
That's a fair question. The book tackles that head on. It warns about misinformation online, things like wrong angel names, made-up powers, rituals that are way too complicated.
So it's positioning itself as a cleaner, more direct path.
Exactly. It claims to offer a purified and effective method for contacting these specific 72 angels, designed to be simple enough even for beginners.
And part of that simplicity is this idea of acting as if you believe, like playing a role.
Yeah, that's the analogy they use. It sidesteps the need for forcing belief. The core elements you actually need, it says, are the angel's sigil and its name.
Just those two things.
Well, the book suggests that in theory, desire, name, and sigil might be enough. But it strongly recommends using what it calls directed ritual magic to really enhance the connection and the results.
And this contrasts with older methods.
Definitely. It sets itself apart from traditions that might require extensive purification, long meditations, or forcing yourself to believe certain things.
It tries to make it feel more accessible.
Right. It points to historical stories of angels helping ordinary people, sometimes in desperate situations, suggesting you don't need to be some kind of perfect saint.
So the message is, you're already worthy, the angels are listening, don't overthink the preparation like bathing or fasting.
Pretty much. And it also says you don't need to worry about whether your desire is righteous or not. That's your call. You make the choice, you live with the results.
And the angel's role is what exactly? Facilitators.
Facilitators of your true will on earth, as the book puts it, which implies you need to figure out what that true will actually is.
So self-reflection is important, knowing what you really want.
Crucial. They even include a story about a pilot who chased a dream that wasn't really his to illustrate the point. You need to identify your genuine desires for improvement.
And any genuine desire is okay. Material things, experiences.
The book says yes, the angels don't judge. but it does warn that their power is significant, life-changing even. It works broadly, not always on tiny details, so clarity in your request is vital.
So they offer wisdom and power, but you're still in the driver's seat.
Absolutely. You decide the goal, they provide the means, essentially. You're not handing over control. The book is very clear about that. The goal is personal change, not ceding your will.
And this system is presented as a kind of refinement of older ideas.
Yeah, a blend of ancient and modern magical concepts that have proven successful distilled into this specific method.
Okay, so understanding that foundation is key. How does the book say you actually do it? How do you contact an angel?
Right, the practical steps. It boils down to a few core stages. First, you create and empower a unique talisman.
The Shem talisman. We'll probably get to that. What's next?
Second, you identify which angel, or maybe angels, have the powers that match what you want to achieve. Third, you plan and write out a detailed request. This is a really important step.
And finally,
You perform the ritual using the specific sigil for the angel you've chosen.
then the sigil is used within a circle of power.
Yes, the book emphasizes that. It's presented as essential for ensuring contact happens, for keeping the working safe, and for making sure the results manifest in the real world.
So the talisman, the sigil, the words, the names, they all work together to get the angel's attention.
That's the idea. They create a focused signal.
And during the ritual, you speak your request.
You speak the request you wrote, yeah, and you remain open to any response. But the book stresses that even if you feel nothing, the angel has heard.
And then there's this 11-day thing.
Right. You repeat the working for 11 consecutive days, and the results. They could be instant, or they might take weeks or months, depending on the request and your situation.
Can you work with more than one angel?
You can for a single task, but the advice is generally to focus on one goal at a time unless it's really urgent. Pick the best angel for the job.
Okay. It sounds like learning all the techniques, prepping the tools might take a bit of time.
It could, yeah, maybe weeks to really get comfortable. But the book also encourages just starting where you feel ready, not getting paralyzed by perfectionism.
Imperfect, frequent magic is better than waiting for perfection.
That's a key message. Just get started. Once you do the ritual, contact is considered instant.
And the experience itself can vary a lot. Feeling something dramatic versus feeling nothing.
Exactly. From dramatic sensations to subtle feelings, or nothing at all. But results can still happen regardless. And it mentions extra steps if you want to build a more direct relationship with an angel.
Okay, so before the actual ritual steps, there are some core concepts, like this force of connection.
Yes, this is presented as a unique combination of secrets for making contact. The first big one is the power of lightning, or rather electricity.
But not actual lightning, right? That sounds dangerous.
No, definitely not. It's imagined electricity. Visualizing the blue light that thunders from the sky, as the book puts it.
And this imagined lightning creates a connection.
That's the claim. An instant link between you and the spirit, the angel. It draws on the idea of lightning being this powerful, visible connection between heaven and earth.
So it's harnessing a symbolic force through imagination.
Precisely. While traditional magic often works with the four elements, this uses imagined electricity as this kind of fifth connecting element.
Does it link this to anything historical?
It does mention that lightning and thunder appear frequently in occult and sacred texts, hinting that this idea might have ancient roots.
But the power comes from within your imagination.
Yes, entirely. It even connects it to the electrical nature of our own brains using directed thought to connect with these forces.
And there's a practical warning about real thunderstorms.
Yeah, don't do the rituals during an actual storm for safety. It might feel more atmospheric, but it's not needed. The real power is internal.
Where did this idea come from, according to the book?
It says it came from studying Kabbalistic magic and was then validated through practice. They even draw an analogy to the science of lightning.
How so?
Lightning restores electrical balance in the atmosphere, right? They compare that to how magic aims to create change and restore balance in your life.
Interesting parallel. It mentions the constant energy exchange.
Yeah, the near-constant lightning strikes happening somewhere on Earth, suggesting this ongoing flow between realms.
So, practically, how do you use this imagined lightning?
When you call an angel's name, say, Raziel as you pronounce it, you simultaneously visualize a bolt of lightning coming down from the clouds, striking you, and then returning upwards. That act forges the link.
Does it matter how you imagine it? Visually, or just a feeling?
The book says different styles work visual, auditory, just knowing it's happening. Some people might feel tingling or see flashes, but the experience isn't the main point.
Just doing the visualization is what counts.
Exactly. Imagine the lightning strike as you say the name. That's the key to connection. Don't overthink it.
Okay, that leads us to Raziel, the angel of universal secrets. Who is Raziel in this system?
Raziel is presented as a key figure, an archangel who's relatively easy to contact and acts as a sort of gatekeeper. Contacting Raziel helps you contact the other 72 angels.
A facilitator.
Pretty much. The authors mention contacting Raziel directly themselves to verify the system works.
And there are specific pronunciations for calling Raziel.
Yes. First you call Arzel using Arzel, Arzael, or Arzael. Then you call Raziel directly. This sequence is said to make contact easier.
Pronunciation in magic can be tricky. Does the book acknowledge that?
It does. It mentions the debates, but says their experiments showed this specific combination works best. But it also reassures you that perfect pronunciation isn't vital. The angels sense the intent.
What's the effect of contacting Raziel supposed to be?
It's described as bringing a sense of light and peace and smoothing the way to contact the other angels. And because Raziel is linked to cosmic secrets, connecting with him grants the power to perform this life alchemy through the other angels.
And there's an opening phrase for the ritual.
Yes. N-E-H-O-H. E-A-O-H.
What does that mean?
N-A-H-A-O-H apparently comes from Hebrew for to recognize, and E-E-H-O-H-H is presented as a preferred pronunciation of the Tetragrammaton, the unutterable name of God.
So the phrase means something like, I intend to recognize God.
That's the interpretation given. And saying this is meant to get Raziel's attention and cooperation. It aligns your intent with recognizing a higher creative force.
How does this fit with the non-religious angle?
The book suggests that even non-religious occultists likely believe in some kind of creative force in the universe. This call reaches out to that force, urging Raziel to help, which supposedly makes the whole system more effective.
And it might even lead to a greater appreciation for life.
That's a potential side effect mentioned, yeah. A sense of wonder or grace.
Okay, after the lightning and Raziel, there's singing to angels. Why singing?
The idea presented is that singing an angel's name helps them hear your request better. It connects to the idea of choirs of angel singing as like their language.
Where did that idea come from?
Apparently from variations in old texts like the 6th and 7th book of Moses. One version suggested using a horn. They experimented with singing instead and found it worked.
Do you need to be a good singer?
No, not at all. No specific tune, no vocal skill needed. Just making the name sound sung rather than spoken is enough.
And there's a symbol for this in the book.
Yes, an asterisk. After a name means you sing it, and at the same time, you do the lightning strike visualization.
So it combines those two elements.
Right. And again, intent over perfection. If you can't sing out loud, you can do it mentally, imagining it sung powerfully.
Okay, let's talk preparation. The Shim Talisman, what is it?
This is presented as a key tool for contacting the 72 angels. The book calls it a closely guarded secret revealed relatively recently in 2015.
But the elements are traditional.
The content, yes, Hebrew text from Exodus, divine names. But the presentation is claimed to be unique and particularly effective.
Can you describe it briefly?
It has outer circles with Exodus text written in a specific back-and-forth way. The letters form the angel name roots when scanned inwards. There's a white circle with divine names and a psalm for Raziel used in the ritual, and a central triangle with an encoding of God's name.
How do you get one?
The book suggests photocopying it from the paperback.
And then you empower it, along with the sigils, using imagination again.
Yes, imagination is key. Not necessarily perfect visualization, just your own way of imagining.
What's the charging process like?
You find a quiet place, scan the talisman visually. Then, while gazing at it, you imagine the sun shrinking into a bright star in your heart. Then picture storm clouds and a lightning bolt striking the talisman in your heart.
Connecting the talisman to your inner energy center.
Exactly. You might feel something, you might not. Then you gaze at it again, knowing its patterns are now imprinted within you, establishing the connection before the main ritual.
How long does that take?
Seconds, or maybe up to 5 minutes. Commitment matters more than perfection. Inviting the image into your heart is what makes it work.
Okay, talisman empowered. Now, choosing an angel. How do you pick from 72?
The book provides lists of all 72, their powers, contact details, sigils, and it stresses that these listed powers come from primary sources in their own decades of work, so they might differ from what you find elsewhere.
So you need to decide which angel fits your goal best.
Right. And usually, just pick one. Using multiple angels for one problem is possible, but generally less effective unless absolutely necessary.
If you do need multiple angels.
You perform the full ritual and request separately for each angel on the same day. It's time-consuming, but better than mixing requests.
So careful selection is key. Thinking about how the power applies.
Absolutely. They use the example, destroy enemies. How do you want that to work? Undermine their work, their health. You interpret the power.
And the book claims no karmic backlash for using these powers.
Explicitly states that, yes. It also encourages looking beyond the obvious powers like wealth or fame. Like learn about desires through dreams. Not glamorous, maybe, but useful for figuring out what you truly want before you do major magic.
So read through all the powers, see the potential value in each.
That's the advice. The only way to choose is to understand the options and know exactly what change you want.
Can you get an intuitive feel for an angel?
The book suggests so, just by reading about it. The descriptions are starting points. More might be revealed as you work with them.
So trust your choice once you've analyzed the problem.
Yes. That analysis itself is a big step. Once chosen, learn the name pronunciation, the invocation, study the sigil, maybe empower it. Get ready for the ritual.
All right, angel chosen. Now, crafting your request, you have to write it yourself.
Yes, the book emphasizes writing it personally makes it more powerful than using a pre-written script. And it gives a 6-step structure.
Okay, step 1.
Stating your will. Start with, it is my will to, and state your goal clearly, but maybe broadly at first. Example, it is my will to become a wealthy and successful writer.
Step 2.
Expanding your desire. Elaborate slightly, still focusing on the outcome. Example, it is my will to achieve significant wealth and recognition as a writer.
Step 3.
Sending out feelings. Start with, I ask that you go forth and. Describe the outcome in terms of the positive feelings it will bring. Example, bring me money that will give me the wealth I need to write freely and happily. Make all my books sell extremely well. You want to feel good reading this part.
Step 4.
The moment of alchemy. This is about the transformation. Acknowledge the current pain or lack, then state the desired change. Example, I have suffered. I ask for enough money. I ask for this transformation, and I feel the change you can bring. Remember the negative. Anticipate the positive relief.
Step 5.
The promise. State what you will do, your contribution. For the writer, I will do my work as a writer, and I let go of all hope and confusion. This shows commitment and belief, even with doubts.
And the final step.
Step 6. Closing your request. Always end with the same words. I seal this command with the word of power. Ahojita Rita. As you angels have come in peace, go in peace. It is done.
So following these steps helps create an effective request.
That's the idea. Clarity leads to results. Though it also says even simple pleas are heard, this structure focuses your intent.
Okay, what about targeting your magic? General versus specific requests.
Right. Most people want specific things, like a noisy neighbor to quiet down, or more sales for this product.
And the book says angels can handle specifics.
Yes, that's highlighted as a benefit, but it also advises caution. Aiming for broader goals often gives the spirits more room to work creatively.
So being too specific might limit success.
It potentially could. The skill is learning when to be general and when to be specific. Discernment.
Is there a strategy?
Maybe do a general working first, then a specific one if needed. Like, calm the whole neighborhood first, then target one specific problem family. Unless it's urgent.
Urgent situations, go specific, like defense against an enemy.
Exactly. If you're under attack, you target that specifically. Angel magic requires flexibility, it seems. But the default advice is, don't be overly specific unless you have to be.
Okay, what about feeding the angels? Offerings.
The book says traditional offerings like incense or candles aren't necessary in this system. What is suggested, though not essential, is sharing the benefits of the magic. Sharing the results. How does that work? The idea is that sharing the energy or the positive outcome can actually improve your own results, though maybe not for everything, like a specific romance spell.
Is it like tithing?
The author frames it more about joyful giving, giving because it feels good and you understand the potential reciprocal benefit, not out of obligation.
2 reasons to give. Help others and improve your own ability to receive.
That's it. Practically, you add a line to your request before the closing, like, share the benefits of this magic with, and name people, groups, or just those who need it most.
Can you get detail, like percentages?
Yes, the book mentions you can specify percentages or have a mental conversation with the angel about it. Feeling pleasure in the generosity is key.
So it's not purely selfless giving.
No, it's presented as more effective because it includes potential benefit for the giver, you can share with anyone, and the act itself enhances things.
Is it required, though?
Not at all. If a result feels private, keep it private. The angels don't judge.
What about doing magic only for someone else?
It's possible. The book acknowledges differing views on doing it secretly, but says with angel magic, you can direct it at others and just let the result happen.
Okay, let's tackle pronunciation again. Unfamiliar names.
Right. The book uses bold capitals for phonetic guides, but it also claims it's pronunciation proof.
How can it be proof against mispronunciation?
Because key letters and words are embedded in the Shem talisman and the sigils themselves. So even if you say it wrong, the visual component ensures it works.
So the phonetic guides are just helpful approximations.
Exactly. English approximations tested to work across accents, but not necessarily authentic Hebrew. They provide examples.
Is there an alternative to reading the phonetic Hebrew?
Yes, you can use the corresponding psalm verse listed for each angel's invocation chant instead. The angel's name is encoded in the psalm text, even if it's not obvious.
Why no audio recordings?
Regional accents would make it confusing, apparently. The written approximations work globally, and crucially, the sigils reinforce the words visually.
So the visual absorption is key, and the invocations themselves are important.
Very. They contain that letter encoding of the angel's name that prompts the response. You should try to let the words resonate, ideally not whispering, especially when singing.
But whispering or silent recitation is okay if needed.
Yes, if privacy is an issue, feeling it resonate internally is the backup.
Okay, using the sigil. What's the process there?
A sigil has the angel seal in the center. You can optionally trace this seal in red on a copy, but its not essential color was a later addition.
What do you do with it in the ritual?
Just before calling the angel's name, you gaze gently at the sigil, especially the central seal. Not intense focus, just be aware of the shape. It aids contact.
And the rest of the sigil, the words and patterns.
Those are divine names, protective phrases, the angel's name in different scripts, the invocation chant in the black ring, and the call to Arzel in the square.
And you scan parts of it with your eyes.
Yes. First, for Arzel, you scan the letters in the square in a specific pattern. Top right to left, left top to bottom, bottom left to right, right bottom to top. Just letting the shape sink in, not reading.
And later, the invocation chant.
Later, you scan the white letters in the black circle, the chant starting top left of the vertical line and going anti-clockwise. Observe each shape. Scanning twice is optional.
Practice this scanning beforehand.
Good idea, yeah. Get familiar with the movements using any sigil before doing a full ritual.
Okay, putting it all together. 11 days of angelic contact. When do you start?
Ideally, start on a Thursday. Perform the ritual daily for 11 days, ending on a Sunday.
What if you miss a day? Like, life happens.
Just continue the next day and finish the 11 days, even if it ends after Sunday. Don't try to double up.
But if you miss a day due to, say, losing interest?
Then the advice is to restart the whole cycle the following Thursday. Maybe refine your approach first.
Any specific time of day?
Anytime works. Just before sunrise is sometimes recommended but not required. Contact starts immediately with the first ritual.
And complete all 11 days, even if results appear early?
Yes, definitely. Consistency matters.
Are there backup plans if Thursday, Sunday isn't possible?
Yes, start Monday or continue past Sunday until the next Thursday if needed. Last resort. Do it as often as you can, max once daily, until results come. But 11 consecutive days from Thursday is best.
And the asterisk means?
Sing the name and do the lightning strike visualization.
Ritual setup.
Face east, have a surface for the talisman and sigil, sit or kneel.
Opening words.
This is the beginning. I open the way. Then an opening gesture, arms forward, backs of hands touch, then move apart like opening a space.
Then focus on the talisman.
Gaze gently at the Shem talisman's central triangle. Say, I call on the inner world to know that this is my will. Then, Naka E-A-O-A 3 times. Talisman stays in view, but isn't the main focus after this.
Then the visualizations. Arch of stone, field of corn.
Yes. Recite those phrases while visualizing clearly. Warmed by fire of the sun, cooled by water of the ocean, steady on the firm earth, etc.
Followed by the questions you don't answer.
Right. Ask aloud. I ask, how did I come to be at peace? I ask, how did I let go of fear? I ask, how did I learn to manifest my dreams? Then imagine orange light on the left, purple on the right for a moment.
Then switch focus to the angel sigil.
Exactly. Make sure it's in front of you. Gaze at the whole pattern, then scan the letters in the square as practiced.
Then call Arzel, say the phrase for the chosen angel.
Yes, the book gives an example flow with the angel poil. After the prep, you'd move to your specific, personally written requests.
Following the 6 steps we discussed earlier, stating will, feelings, alchemy, promise.
Correct. You speak that full request.
After the request.
You visually scan the invocation chant letters in the black circle, anti-clockwise, then speak that chant aloud.
Then sing the angel's name.
Glance at the sigil, sing the angel's name 3 times with the lightning strike image, then speak your personal request again directly to the angel.
And finish with a closing statement.
Always the same closing. I seal this command with the word of power. A-H-R-H-R-E-Ta. As you angels have come in peace, go in peace, it is done.
Okay, that's the structure. But what's the experience of contact supposed to be like?
It varies hugely. Could be purely ritualistic, you do the steps, get results, feel nothing specific. Or it could feel like a direct interaction, even communication.
Does the type of experience matter for results?
The book says no. As long as the angel heard and results come, it worked. But it does offer ways to develop more direct contact if you want that.
Sensing the angel isn't necessary then. No need to see wings.
Definitely not. That's a common worry the book addresses. Feeling a presence isn't required for the magic to function. This chapter is really for those curious about deepening the connection.
What kind of sensations might occur?
A whole range. Peace, power, cold, heat, light flashes, seeing a glimpse of something, a tingle, or absolutely nothing. All are fine.
How can you encourage more direct contact?
Use all your senses in the visualizations. Treat the I ask questions as reflections, not things needing answers. Call the angel's name like you expect it to hear, like calling a friend.
And leaving space after calling.
Yes, pause in silence after calling the name. Be open to sensing something without forcing it. Just remain aware. Even if nothing happens, the angel heard.
What about asking for direct communication specifically?
You can do an 11-day working just for that, ideally after you've already had some success with the magic. Watch for signs during those days, feathers, names, subtle sensations.
Angels have personalities.
The book emphasizes they are conscious beings, distinct.
After asking for contact, how do you initiate it later?
Gaze at the sigil anytime. Sing the name 3 times with lightning, then wait silently for the angel to make itself known.
But don't try too hard.
Exactly. Relaxed receptivity works better than straining. Once you know contact is made by looking at the sigil and singing, just wait.
What might happen in an established relationship?
Asking for guidance, help, maybe hearing a voice, getting insight, seeing the angel. It's unique to each person. Don't be discouraged by subtle contact or scared by direct contact.
But results are possible, even without sensing much.
Yes, as long as you act as if it's real. Consistent use should lead to some sense of presence eventually, though.
Okay, ritual done. What about after the ritual, letting go?
Ah, yes. The difficulty of letting go of the desire, but its importance.
Is lust for result really a problem?
The book says it's not always true that it negates magic, but it happens often enough that managing your eagerness is important. Letting go helps by getting your own interference out of the way. Trust the process.
Like trusting someone else to drive.
Good analogy. Ideally have absolute trust. But that's hard when you desperately want change.
So desiring the result is okay.
Yes, despite what some traditions say. The technique offered is, when thoughts about the result come up, instead of panicking, just briefly imagine the positive end result achieved, feel good about it, then let it go without focusing on how it will happen.
And take real-world action, open pathways.
Crucial.
Yeah.
If you did money magic, look for opportunities. Thinking about your goal is fine, just don't obsess over the magic itself or anxiously watch for signs.
So imagine the end result, then get busy with other things.
Pretty much. Focus on the real-world aspects, trust the magic to handle its side. Cultivating enjoyment and gratitude now also helps, reduces wanting.
Appreciating current blessings makes you more receptive.
That's the idea. Spend time daily feeling grateful.
Okay, can we quickly summarize the core steps for creating a ritual?
Sure. 1. Empower the talisman and sigil. 2. Prepare everything. Aim to start on a Thursday. 3. Write down your request. 4. Face east, talisman and sigil ready.
5.
Perform the master ritual using imagination, feeling, reading your request. 6. Repeat daily for 11 days, ending Sunday ideally.
7.
Let go, know it's done, results will come. 8. Act in the real world towards your goal, open pathways, but without excessive desire or worry.
Then the bulk of the book details the 72 Angels of Magick.
Exactly. Names, pronunciations, sigils, chants, powers for all 72.
Some names sound similar.
They might, but each has a unique sigil, Hebrew spelling, pronunciation, and power set. You get familiar as you read.
And it gives examples like Yalil for protection, Sital for travel, Mahazaya for peace and learning.
Leilahel for luck and inspiration, Akea against evil, Hazel for friendship and promises, Haziel for healing and forgiveness, Aladaya for fame and influence.
Lovia for dream answers and truth, Hahaya for dream interpretation and secrets, Yizalel for reconciliation, Mibahel for justice, Hariel for peace, Hakamaya for victory.
And another Lavia for love and decisions, Kaliel for balance and joy, Luvaya for wealth and fame, Hallelujah for travel safety, Nelchel against thieves, Yael for magic power.
It's a very extensive list covering almost every conceivable need or desire, isn't it?
It really is. Health, wealth, relationships, protection, knowledge, influence, specific skills. The list goes on and on through all 72.
And the section on the act of choosing comes back after the list.
Yes, reinforcing the need to match the power to your specific desire, and reiterating the advice on using multiple angels sequentially if needed.
And reminding us the powers listed are based on their experience.
Right. They suggest spending time reading, maybe gazing at a sigil while thinking about your problem, letting intuition guide you.
But don't tell the angel how to do its job.
Exactly. Be sincere in your request. Trust the angel to handle the details.
The book revisits the art of letting go, too.
Yes, just reinforcing that point about releasing attachment after the ritual, cultivating a casual confidence that it works.
Starting small helps build that confidence.
That's the suggestion. Perform the magic with intent, then trust the angel to do the work while you do your part in the real world. Mental detachment from the specifics is key.
What about doing magic for others? Is that covered?
Yes. It says it's possible, even without permission, but advises great care. Healing for the ill is given as a generally harmless example.
How do you phrase the request?
Direct it to the angel for the named person. Explain their suffering, how the magic helps, and maybe the positive feelings you'd feel at their success.
And this applies to other powers, too. Prosperity, protection for loved ones.
Yes, but with a caution. You might not know what someone truly wants.
So there's a way to phrase it safely.
Add, in accordance with the will of the person's name, to the request. This aligns it with their deepest desires.
Asking permission directly can be awkward.
It acknowledges that, yeah, might get negative reactions. But doing magic for others can also build your relationship with the angels and improve your skills.
And finally, the book points to online resources for success stories.
Yes, a Facebook page and website for tips and shared experiences.
And an appendix simplifies the master ritual steps again.
Correct. A concise summary for easy reference.
Okay, so wrapping up our deep dive here. We've explored a system focusing on personal desire, specific rituals using talismans and sigils, and this unique idea of imagined lightning.
It offers a structured way to potentially engage with these 72 angelic forces for a vast range of purposes.
So, for you listening, maybe consider which angel or power resonates most with what you're seeking or facing right now. The book clearly offers a lot to explore there.
And a final thought to leave you with. Could the real power to change things lie not just in some external force, but maybe also in the focused intention and the imagined power that you bring to the process itself?